Hi everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm really happy to host today a very interesting Fireside Chat with the founder of a great company that when they told me, can you come and moderate this Fireside Chat? I was like, I'm gonna take the plane to come to Casablanca to do it. Just to tell him thank you for enabling me in 2016 to order Burger King at home. So yeah, today we welcome Oscar Pierre, the founder of Glovo, a company that you all know here in Morocco. Welcome, Oscar.
Thank you. 2016? You tried it?
Yeah, I think it was 2016 or 17, something like that. Yeah.
Where? In Morocco?
No, in Paris.
In Paris.
Yeah. And
well, thank you everyone. Thank you Startup Station for organizing this. And in Paris, you were one of the few customers because we shut down Paris.
I know.
We're not in Paris anymore.
I know. It was like a big loss for me. Actually, funny enough, the first company that I heard of doing what we call today Q-commerce, maybe you heard about them. It was called Tok Tok Tok.
Tok Tok Tok, yeah?
Yeah, Serge, the founder, was a very good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And they wanted to create the first virtual app where you can buy anything you want.
Yeah.
They failed miserably.
They failed.
But then you arrived. And I was like, hey, another thing like Tok 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 happening. So can you tell me a bit more about how you had this idea for Glovo, and how did you say yes? So there was some like initiatives in this area, but we're gonna succeed.
Yeah, so I think Glovo was one example where the idea was not magic, right? It's basically tell us what you want, we deliver it. And I remember when we were starting in Barcelona, exactly 9 years ago, maybe there were like 10 different initiatives doing the same thing. Like some of them were only like a Facebook page, and they had like a WhatsApp number that you could, just text them. Others have a website. Some others had an app. So it was all about execution. And the idea wasn't something amazing. And it was tough. It was tough because delivering everything to a customer very fast and making a profit, it's almost impossible, right? Without great technology. So we scaled the company during many, many years with negative unit economics. No? So for, I would say, the first 4 years, it was more expensive for us to deliver the order than what we could charge to the customer. And I think we could do that because we built the business in an era where money was free, right? Where VCs were all about growth and scaling. But definitely, like, if I started Glovo now with those unit economics, I don't think we would succeed. I don't think we would convince any investor.
Yeah, you're one of the only survivors of the Q-commerce landscape.
Yeah, many have failed. It's a business where there's super strong network effects, right? Which means that the bigger you are, the more customers, like all the economics get cheaper the bigger you are, no? So the more couriers you have on the streets, the faster you deliver, the cheaper it is to deliver for you. CACs get lower, people open your app more often. So it's just a network effect that if you become the number one, the business looks good. If you're number two, number three, it's really, really tough to make a profit, right? And you need a lot of scale because we now, after 9 years, we make less than €1 of profit per order. It's a very, very high volume, very small margin business, right? And until you don't reach that scale, you don't have enough profit to pay engineers and to pay all the headquarters that you need. So in this journey, many have failed. Yeah, because either they don't reach the scale, they don't get the fundraising. We were like 3 times weeks away from shutting down because Weeks, yeah, 3 times weeks. Like
what were the dates? Like, was it in? Give me the story. Give me the stories.
So it was Series A, B, and C. or maybe A, B, and D. Especially B was really tough. B was when, so Series A we could fundraise in Spain. Of course, the pre-seed and seed, it was only like family and friends and small business angels in Barcelona, Madrid. Series A, we tapped into some Spanish venture capitals. But Series B, we were looking for 20 million or between 20 and 30. And at that scale of around, like the Spanish VC wasn't there yet. They didn't have enough scale. So we had to go to London, to Paris, to Berlin, to share the story and fundraise from VCs in Europe. And we didn't convince any. Like we pitched to 122.
Wow.
That said no. So, and the business was doing well. Like we were growing, we were, unit economics were shit, but we were improving.
When was that?
That was 2018.
2018, and money was cheap and almost like
nobody wanted to invest. Nobody, because we were a Spanish business. From London, they see us as how are these Spaniards going to compete against?
Too much sun, they don't work, they go to the beach and
too lazy, you do siestas and no, but we had American competitors, English competitors, German competitors, and you always have this tag on you, like how are you going to compete against the Americans, right? They're going to just destroy you. Uber was our competitor, right? Like, how are you going to beat Uber? And yeah, we literally pitched to all VCs in Europe. Everybody said no. We had 3 weeks of cash. And then in a random event in Barcelona, I met a Japanese guy from Rakuten. Well, Rakuten is like the Amazon of Japan. And I convinced him to lead the round. And they put 8 million euros. And then 2 other VCs joined the party, and we raised the round, and we survived.
Did you go to karaoke with the CEO of Rakuten and drink alcohol to close the deal?
Yes. Yes.
I know this is how they do business.
I went to Tokyo, not the CEO, but yeah, we did the karaoke. It was
amazing.
But yeah, this is these things that clearly tell you that I think we've done great work, but also there was those moments of luck that you can't control. Of course, the only thing you can control is just to keep working, keep pushing, and maybe you find the luck. No, but I know we had competitors that were working as hard as we were, and they disappeared. So
yeah, I think the most important thing as an entrepreneur, and people here around here, we have a lot of entrepreneurs listening to us, and I'm not surprised when you say that you pitched 122 VCs. You have to be relentless. You have to continue fighting, meet people. Luck is not random. You make it happen. And this is what happened. You were looking for money, and you were 2-3 weeks away from going down, and just like that.
Yeah, you just keep moving, and yeah.
So that was 2018, and then COVID in 2020.
Yeah, COVID. I mean, we were one of the lucky ones in COVID. We also had, so the third time that we almost died was in COVID. Yeah. Because we also got to COVID with little cash. And in COVID, overall COVID, the summary was great for us, no? Like more customers, more growth, people could not go out, so they ordered delivery a lot. We grew our groceries category really fast because a lot of people could only access groceries and pharmacy through Glovo. But there were 40, 50 days at the beginning that it was very unclear if delivery was allowed in every country or it was forbidden. I think in Morocco we had it forbidden, no, for a long time, for example. So we were short on cash and no visibility. That was the third moment where we almost died. But then things started going well, and yeah, we could find another investor.
And the existing investors, do they support you at that time, or were they completely?
Yeah, they supported us in that round. Yeah,
okay,
they supported us.
Okay, amazing. So you were already in Morocco. So one thing I wanted to talk about, and what's really interesting about Glovo, because so you were an outlier versus Deliveroo, Uber, all of those guys with billions of dollars of funding, and interestingly, and we talked about it in the introduction, you were in Paris and then you left Paris.
Yeah.
And usually, when you launch a startup, you think the most advanced cities, countries are the kind of areas I want to be in. But with Glovo, it's a different story.
Yeah, it was completely opposite. So we did Barcelona, Madrid, Valencia, and after cracking those three, the natural inertia is where do you launch? No? So let's go to the biggest city, which was Paris and Milan. We went to both. We did Milan and Paris, and that was our first big learning that winning matters, no? And having the first mover advantage in a business like ours is super important. And when we launched in Paris, there were already Uber Eats and Deliveroo had been there for 3 years. No? So they were already really established players. They had developed the market, and it didn't work Paris. Like, it was very obvious for us like how well Barcelona, Milan, Madrid, they were kicking off. In Paris it wasn't, because people already had their food delivery app that they were using, and convincing a user to download another app, it's really expensive. No, you need to give them a discount, and maybe another discount for their second order. It's just really bad unit economics.
One very funny thing, Serge, so the founder of Tok Tok Tok, told me an interesting story. Maybe you can confirm it or not. He told me he found his magic number is that when he provided 7 discounts to a user, he became hooked. So basically he was funding the acquisition and the retention of his customers with 7 discounts, and then it was... do you have the same number? Do you have the same kind of KPIs?
So we are a very anti-discount company in general. So no, I mean, yeah, I think, yeah, it's not as simple. Usually, it's not as simple as that, no, because the different customers have different behaviors. You can optimize for some certain milestones, like for example, we know that when a customer does their first grocery order, their lifetime value increases by 50% almost. No, so we put a lot of money in that part of the journey. Like once a customer is ordering food, burgers and pizzas and salads, if you convince them to order from Marjan or Carrefour, their lifetime value will grow up by 50% versus if they don't do it. No?
How do you explain that?
Well, because they unlock another use case and they start using us more frequently for groceries also.
Okay.
And they get more hooked. And so we do have certain, this is what we call high value actions. No? So a high value action is when we see a spike in lifetime value and where it makes sense to allocate a lot of marketing money to incentivize that type of action. No? But going back to the Paris case, we learned in Paris it wasn't working. And then we said, why keep going to the expensive cities? Like, why should we go to London if in Lima, in Peru, like I'm sure there's a lot of customers, or in Kazakhstan, or in Morocco. And we started executing this strategy of what we call tier 2 markets like crazy. We have historically launched 40 markets.
What makes a tier 2 market? What are the characteristics of a tier 2 market that you look into?
So, well, we basically went into markets where there was little competition. And where, I mean, this is a bit of a common sense of, where is the venture capital money? So in the US, UK, France, Germany, China, Japan, Korea. So we avoided all of those markets because this is also where the food delivery business was most penetrated. And we could not grab the first mover advantage. So we went to all the other countries. We did South America first. We launched 12 markets there. Then we went to Eastern Europe and Central Asia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Georgia. And then we started doing Africa. And in Africa, it was super exciting. And I remember that journey. It was difficult because our board didn't support it. No, all our investors were like, "Who's going to order food delivery in Kenya? Like there's no money in Kenya." Or because in Europe they have these perceptions that Europe is rich, Africa is poor, right? This is like super biased binary world, and it's not like this. So you find developing middle classes in all big cities in the world with super high mobile penetration, where, yeah, and convenience and eating is a global trend, no? So people eat and they want things fast delivered.
It's like I have a friend who always says here in Morocco, the thing that always works is restaurant. You open a restaurant, it makes money. Everyone's gonna eat.
Yeah.
But one question that I have is, you said that the board did not support the strategy. How did you execute if the board was not supporting?
So bit by bit, and half sharing information, half hiding information. No? So when we went to Peru, no? Peru was like, come on, Oscar, like who's going to order delivery in Peru? So let me test it. So we tested it, boom, like it grew super fast. And then this gave us credit to launch in Romania and in Serbia and then in Ukraine and Africa. I remember it as a big struggle. Like they didn't want us to launch in Africa. And again, I told them, hey, let us test it. Let us test Morocco. And Morocco worked super well. And yeah, then Sub-Saharan Africa, honestly, we have taken longer to develop it. Now it's really booming, but for the first 5 years it was a bit tougher. Yeah.
What was the biggest hardship that you unveiled here in Morocco? I'm interested to learn the go-to-market that you had here in the area.
The biggest... Wow. So honestly, nothing big comes to mind. I think Morocco
has an easy market?
It's been an easy market, yes. It's been a market where adoption has happened really fast, where we have found a really engaged fleet of couriers, very high efficiencies. So operations have been super smooth here, and this is the key of our business. So if the operations are smooth and couriers deliver a lot of orders per hour, the rest usually goes pretty well. In terms of infrastructure, roads, addresses, maybe a bit more difficult, but I don't remember Morocco being a lot more difficult than other European markets, to be honest. It's not... maybe there's a few things there that are not in my memory, but it's been a really good market, Morocco, for us, yeah.
Great. One thing that I learned, so in December I participated to an event where your Moroccan general manager shared a very interesting presentation about your culture, about KPIs and data. So from what I heard is data is one of the most important focus in your company. Can you tell me a bit more about how you put this culture in place and what kind of freedom you give to the local markets to act upon the data that they get access to?
So, first of all, on culture, because not sure if if I understand the question right, like we do have a lot of data around culture, no? So every manager, once every 6 months, they need to review each one of their team members on each on 15 different lines that describe our culture, no? To tell them if they are doing well, doing okay, or doing great. So doing low, okay, or great. So we do have and collect a lot of data on each employee, on how well they're doing on each axis of our culture and values, and act on it, no? So we cannot have anybody going through 2 performance reviews and being low on culture values. And this has been key to scale. You know, now we are almost 4,000 employees, and the tricky thing about this size is how you scale the culture, no? This is the most complex. Yeah, local teams. So we, in a country like Morocco, we need a team more or less of 100 people in the office, and and they need to be really autonomous. This is a really local business, right? We build technology in Barcelona, but the reality is every market is so different in terms of culture and I mean local culture competition, logistics, groceries and yeah, we empower local teams a lot.
And that's what makes the performance reviews about culture so important, because you give them some kind of freedom in how to operate locally, but at the end of the day they're all parts of the Glovo family, so they need to be able to fit into the global culture.
Yeah. Yeah, like one position we obsess a lot about is the country manager.
Yeah.
Because he or she is the one that responsible to pass this culture to the entire local office. And we truly obsess. Like, this is the one make it or break it point for one market, and it's after 9 years for us it's obvious that if the country manager is good, the country will do well. If the country manager is bad, the country will not do well. Initially, what we did to expand so fast, because finding a country manager takes a lot of time. In Serbia, we have been looking for a country manager for 18 months, and we haven't found it. So initially, what we did was we sent people from Barcelona to be, and we still do this a lot. No, because in Barcelona you can train people on culture, right? Because we're there, you can train them, and you can get to know them really well versus hiring someone on Zoom. No, so we have like a pool of talent in Barcelona that, in case there's an open position, a country manager that we cannot fill, we send them temporarily for 12 months, 6 months to fill that position. And when we launch a country, we do the same. So we don't start. Many companies, what they do is the first step to launch a country is to hire a country manager. We don't believe in this. We believe in sending someone there that we call a launcher. And that person is responsible to set up everything and eventually finding the country manager as well. And we trust more that person on the ground hiring the country manager than our recruiters from Barcelona doing it.
And that's interesting. And what's so a quick question about opening a country. So what's the time to open a country? When you send someone there, do you have like some kind of...
Yeah. We're now opening Albania.
Yeah.
I think in 8 weeks you can launch it, more or less.
Wow. That's very impressive.
Yeah.
Because it's a multi-sided marketplace. Yeah. You have the local businesses, you have the couriers, runners, and you have also the customers.
Yeah. You start with the merchants, so you start signing contracts with the merchants. Once you have like a few hundreds of merchants that you can upload in the app, then you just start building the fleet of couriers, and then you go live. You start doing marketing. Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of magic sauce that he's not sharing with us, but I understand.
No, I mean.
So what's the future for Glovo? What does Glovo look like in the next 5 to 10 years?
So first of all, we're tiny. We're very, very small. Here in Morocco, for example, only 1% of Moroccans use us every month, right? 1%. And I think this industry in any country in the world will get to 20s, 30s, 40% of penetration monthly, right? So and we have seen this in countries where we don't operate, maybe like Korea or Middle East, where you see 30% of the population using these tools, these delivery apps, every single month to eat, to get groceries, to get pharmacy. So we're still extremely small. We're really focused on delivery. We think delivery is a super tough problem to crack. So every time we have thought about, hey, why don't we launch a taxi service, or why don't we launch whatever, music in the app, or it's a no, because for example, groceries, like doing groceries well is so complex, right? I'm sure if you have used groceries, very often you order whatever 30 items and there's a few items that don't arrive, right? Because it's really complex. Like we partner with Carrefours and Marjans of the world that they don't even know what they have in the store. Yeah. So having that stock visibility is super complicated, and so there's a long journey.
So you have, so from what I understand, you have a strong goal for groceries. For you, groceries is a focus.
Groceries now is like 20% of our business, but it's growing faster than restaurants. Yeah.
I'm an investor in La Belle Vie. Maybe you heard about La Belle Vie.
Yeah.
In Paris.
Yeah.
They do groceries, online groceries.
Online. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
From warehouses.
From one warehouse. They have the biggest warehouse in Paris.
Nice.
They actually took it from. Actually, Carrefour wanted to have it, and they got it away from them.
Nice.
Yeah, and
it's big baskets, right?
It's huge baskets.
Okay.
The average basket value is around like 70 euros, which is huge.
Yeah. That's good.
And Paul, who is the founder, he told me how hard it is, and it has been for Frischti, whom they acquired after like being liquidated, almost liquidated. And I think it's very difficult to be competitive in the groceries field if you don't control the supply. Because when you see, I have some few experiences with the groceries with Uber Eats or Deliveroo, but 80% of the time, an item is switched. So it's just like it's a patch. Using Uber Eats or Deliveroo for groceries is a patch. But my go-to is La Belle Vie, because I'm sure 99% of the time that's what I order, I get it. Yeah. How can Glovo fix this?
So two ways. One is doing it. One is controlling the supply. So in worldwide we have around 120 what we call MFCs. This is what here in Morocco is called the Glovo Express. So it's basically we have our own MFCs is a micro fulfillment center. No? So in Morocco we have 5 in total. We're launching 3 more. There are small warehouses in the city that we fully control the stock. We have 3,000-4,000 SKUs.
Okay.
So it's like a Belle Vie, but smaller, small baskets, and we deliver in 20 minutes. It's a Getir or Gorillas model.
It's like Gorillas.
Yeah.
But how do you make it work in terms of economics?
Because we have the customers, and we don't have to invest in CAC.
Okay.
And that's the big difference, no? Like we have people open the apps so many times a month, and we don't have to acquire and retain that customer, no? It's already there.
Oh, okay.
So this is one. The second is working better and better with Marjans and Carrefours of the world, which we are doing. And we are becoming a pretty important share of their business. Like we have gone from 0 to more than 1% of Marjan's turnover already happening inside Glovo, and their operational metrics keep improving a lot. No, so like for example, products that are not available or bad ratings. Like every month we see that they're improving. There's a lot of machine learning. There's a lot of integrations that we're doing. I think eventually we're going to crack it. But it's what I said, no, about the focus on cracking delivery of groceries. Like you need so many engineers there, like to crack it. And that's why we don't see, when you ask me about Glovo in 5 years, like we don't see us really deviating from delivery in the short term or mid term.
Yeah, and maybe more focus on groceries. Any way in terms of models, maybe fully integrated or
yeah.
Because I think that the fully integrated model is quite hard to crack, because one also of the KPIs that is very important is the quantity of SKUs available. Yeah. That's what Paul told me.
Yeah.
The reason why people order at La Belle Vie is because they have everything.
Everything. Yeah.
They have everything. Having everything is the main KPI for the customer.
Yeah. Yeah. Like every time you increase assortment,
yeah,
basket size grows.
Great. So, you're still working at Glovo full time?
Yeah. So, if full time means more than 50 hours a week, yes.
Because I heard you were launching a fund.
Yeah, we launched the fund also.
And I understand that you like the color yellow. Because the fund is named Yellow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So can you tell me a bit more about it?
So, I've been doing for the last 3 years some business angel investments, but I've heard you do it very well. I didn't do it well. It was super messy. Like we did, like with my co-founder Sasha, we did like 35 investments. super tiny tickets, like 5,000 euros here and there, 10,000 euros, and with no strategy, no control. We were, and one day, like, we were spending so much time in the notary. We were spending more time in the notary than with entrepreneurs, right? And we said, fuck this, like, we cannot continue this. It doesn't scale. But we really like meeting entrepreneurs. There's a lot of people in Spain that approach us, and so with all that, our roads crossed with another Moroccan, actually, Adam Lasri.
He was at Atomico.
He was at Atomico, so he left. He was leaving Atomico, and one of his plans was to build a small fund for early stage. So we said, let's do it together. Like, we can invest some time, we can invest money, we can invest our brand in Spain and Italy, especially. And yeah, so we took together with him. So we've kicked off this fund that is 30 million euros. The idea is to invest in the best entrepreneurs, focused in south of Europe, not exclusively.
I hear Morocco is the south of Europe too.
Yeah, why not? They also say Spain is north of Africa. So yeah, we invest as early as possible. We invest tickets of 300,000 euros. And yeah, we kicked off this summer. We've done 4 investments so far.
Amazing. Can you tell us some of the investments you made, or it's not public yet?
Yeah, so very fast. There's one entrepreneur in Barcelona trying to make lawyers' life easier in large corporations. So for example, in Glovo, we have a team of 40 lawyers, and 70% of their work is, I hate this word, but monkey work.
Yeah.
Not just answering requests from team members like, hey, can you read this document? Can you tell me how this works? So this can be automated with AI now, and he's building a tool to build automatic responses that reads all the documents that are filed in a company like the size of Glovo, for example. This is one. There's another one building a marketplace between hospitals and nurses. So there's a big shortage of nurses in Europe or globally.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And nurses, they have multiple employers, so they jump from one. They do shifts in different hospitals, and they're building this marketplace where hospitals can offer shifts like night shifts, and nurses can book. And there's another one in Paris, really cool, that is building the new Duolingo. Is building a new way to learn languages by talking to an avatar that fully understands you. It's like your personal tutor, also through Gen AI, and it's pretty cool. It's a moonshot, but if it works, I really believe in this as being like a true, like most of language learning happens with a personal tutor still.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. And I think an avatar, a Gen AI avatar, could
can build a relationship with the avatar, and then
and understand, you know, if you are like using the future tense well, or hey, correct you like. So I think it makes sense.
Amazing. So seed, pre-seed, very early, great entrepreneurs, technology. I see a small focus with AI.
It just happened to be not necessarily.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, if some entrepreneurs here are looking for some funding, so there is 212 founders, obviously, and and Yellow, and we would be happy to co-invest in a few deals. Great. I think it's a great talk, and really excited to see the future of Glovo and also Yellow, and maybe meet you in some cap tables.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Do you invest in Morocco?
I actually, with 212 founders, we do invest heavily in Morocco.
Heavily.
Yeah, we invested in how many deals? Like 18 companies, and also internationally with Moroccan founders. I think the startup scene in Morocco is very vibrant, and there's also one specific thing about the Moroccan market of entrepreneurs, is that we're all around the world. So when you invest in Morocco, you shouldn't look only in Morocco. You look all around the world, and you have great entrepreneurs all around the world.
Yeah.
And that's what exciting with this market. Yeah.
I mean, now that I'm thinking, like our co-founder at Yellow is Moroccan, and one of the 3 startups we've invested in is also Moroccan, based in Barcelona.
Amazing. We did not see
Moroccans
them
everywhere.
I mean,
Who would you say is the next candidate to become a unicorn in Morocco?
ooh,
Who has the biggest chances?
unicorn. I have a few fintechs in mind. You think, yeah, maybe?
What's
Maybe
the-
Mink. Maybe Mink. I think Mink could achieve. So Malik, who is the founder of Mink, which is a fintech, great fintech with a huge potential. Also Inyad, also Wafer, doing an amazing job in revenue. I'm impressed when you told me about your real revenue. Yeah. So if you, I don't know Presta Freedom, unfortunately. So maybe we should hear about you. But yeah, I think Mink, Wafer, and Inyad, great companies. Great. Yeah. Shari also. Yeah. Yeah, I think there are some great opportunities. The market is interesting, and we have some specific things in Morocco that make the fintechs also great to take market, because it was a very closed market, and now it's being more and more open.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunities are getting more interesting.
I think I was asking because I think once there is big scale up in an ecosystem, everything changes, right?
Yeah.
Because this happened in Spain also. When we started, we could not hire from anybody. There were no scale ups, there were no unicorns in Spain, and it makes things a lot tougher because one, you don't. It biases you, no? Like it's like, am I really gonna be the first one? Like it's weird, no? Like it's not nobody inspires you. And second, again, talent is not in the city. You don't find talent with experience. But now you build now in Barcelona there's like maybe 5 big tech companies. And building a company now in Barcelona is so much easier because you can poach talent from so many different companies, and it's a lot faster.
That's a very interesting point, because a unicorn is like a big magnet.
Yeah.
That attracts talent, and because there is so much cash in it.
Yeah.
And then the other companies can just, like, when people start to get bored or has learned everything,
Yeah.
then the small startups can pop out of the unicorn. That's a great point.
And then you will see how. So from Glovo, there's been 45 entrepreneurs already. 45 startups that have appeared from the Glovo mafia, no, that they call. People that leave Glovo to build their own company. So, I'm super looking forward to Morocco, like having this first 1, 2, 3 unicorns, because this is when things explode, I think.
Yeah, well, looking forward to it. We're working hard to make it happen.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, thank you, Oscar. I think before we finish and we get to the cocktails, maybe we take some questions in the audience. So raise your hand if you have questions. Maybe we need a mic. 1, 2. Yeah, this mic works. So if I can give the mic to someone who would.
Thank you. You said that first mover advantage was critical in order to create this network effect that we all understand is key in order to grow a marketplace. But when you came to Morocco, there was a player here that was here years before you, and you managed to completely kick him out of the market. How did you manage to build the network effect while not being the first on the market?
I mean,
first, who was the unfortunate?
Jumia, no?
Ah, yeah.
Jumia. So it's not such a binary thing, right? Because even when we came here to Morocco, I would say the market was super young still. Like the Jumia food was tiny, no? So the race was still very early. And also, what matters a lot is gap in terms of execution, in terms of UX, you can achieve. No, so when we went to Paris, like Uber Eats and Deliveroo, they're really high quality players. No, they execute well, they have good technology, and also we were really late. We're like 3 years late. In the case of Morocco, so Jumia Food was very small, and also their UX, their technology was in. We thought we could out execute them. No, we were clearly better than them, which was not clearly the case with Uber Eats and Deliveroo, where maybe we can be like 10% better, but that wasn't enough. So that was the story of Morocco. Yeah, like we thought we could be like 50% better than them, and then it made sense.
Thank you. Other questions?
Thank you so much. Really interesting. I'm curious about your previous ventures. So I just checked them on LinkedIn, Fo and Zicomo. And can you tell us a little bit about them, what you learned? Also, it seemed very different from Glovo's mission today.
Those feel tiny.
I wanted to hide the backstory of. Go ahead.
No, I mean, one was so first I was a student when so they were all like side projects, and one was a non-profit initiative that we kicked off with my girlfriend back then, still my girlfriend now, 15 years later. Yeah, we basically raise funds through. We organize the sports events and we raise funds for scholarships, for girls in Malawi. It wasn't a startup. There was no technology, but it was like a first venture, not non-profit. And the second one was a marketplace for handcrafts. So we went to people that made handcrafts, and we tried to build a marketplace, and it didn't work. And it was like 6 months, and then I had the idea of Glovo, and I switched projects really fast to Glovo. They were really, really tiny, the two of them.
Any other questions?
I have the mic.
Okay.
So I'm Majid. I have the startup called Presta Freedom. It's home services. Just wanted to share a story because in 2009 I created the first platform like Glovo in Morocco, and it started in like 4 or 5 years ago before Glovo and Jumia here. Wow. So like it cost me like 7 million dirhams that day. It was enormous at that times, and didn't find the funds. And I really loved the part when you talked about 120 pitches. Yeah. Well, actually, I did only 80. Now I understand.
You were missing 40.
But sometimes ideas are too soon.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, sometimes the go-to market is like to find the right timing and the right market.
Actually, it was working. It wasn't that early. It was working. I just needed some other funds, and then Glovo came up, and Jumia, they were calling me to have some information about that. It was A Domicile Poema.
Okay.
So really wanted to share the story. So I know a lot about it. That my mother uses Glovo, and she told me, why did you stop that? So just wanted to share that, and we had some funding like in Presta Freedom, and we are open for the Series A for you if you have the $10 million.
What does Presta Freedom do?
It's a platform for home services, and actually it's a subscription. It's mandatory subscription of home services. It starts with home services with home cleaning, and then we have the 100 others like Glovo. We have the gardening, the dog cleaning. We will have the other stuff. Actually, we have full service providers for the cleaning part. We have 100 employees, and then we have. I did the conference today at 7 in the morning. It was like 1 million. We have a target for 1 million home workers in Morocco to go to the formal part. That's our vision.
You should send your deck to.
I did my commercial.
Nice.
Any other questions?
Hello, Oscar. Ayman, startup owner. So after that, you've been in Morocco for a long time. Now, because you have a better picture of Moroccan market, do you think that the part where you just came in Morocco and you were educating the market by just promoting and doing giving a lot of discounts. Do you think now there was another option that you could just done, but in a cheaper way?
I would say less than 3% of our marketing budget was in promotions, actually. Most of our money has gone into TV, out of home, so just having a outdoor marketing, and online video. So that's where 90% of our money has gone. So it was all about educating and just keep hitting with people with the message of what Glovo is. And discounts has been really, really small. Yeah.
I got another question. So I always wondered what was your secret, because when you came in Morocco, there was already like McDonald's, KFC, Pizza. They were already working in Morocco. They could have just launched their own delivery service. What made you close these deals with McDonald's, with these big companies that already were working and just could have done their own services? What made you close those deals?
So it's the power of a marketplace, right? Users want infinite choice, no? So they will order wherever they find, of course, the best experience, but also infinite choice. It's true that some big brands, they keep developing their own channel. No, like Marjan, for example. No, they have their own website, or McDonald's has their own website or telephone. But the reality is, what really will grow are marketplaces. It's the Amazon effect. We keep ordering in Amazon because you know that you go there, you can find everything, you can compare things, you can compare prices, products. You have your payment methods already there, so it's super easy to buy. The same thing happens in food delivery, right? And yeah, at the beginning it's difficult to sign those big chains. But it gets to a point for all of them, that either you're there or you're losing out on. It's like not being in a mall, right? In a shopping mall.
Yeah.
If you're not in a shopping mall, like, you're missing on a lot of customers that are just walking there, and you're missing on that traffic.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar, for this fireside chat. I really enjoyed the chat. I'm Murad. I'm the founder of X Capital, and I have a question about the fundraise exactly. So mainly you've been in so many rounds, and I'd like to know how did you approach investors? Did you encounter so many roadblocks during raising funds? And did you mostly focus on KPIs or other indicators? So I'm really curious about the fundraise stuff.
You can help here, but I believe that the decision of an investor to invest is a lot more emotional than what it looks. Even in Series A's, B's, C's, of course, then they have analysts that they will do all the data crunching, but in the pitch, it has to be short, and you have to convince the partner of the fund through emotions, and you have to sell the dream, right? If he finishes that meeting super excited with the dream, even if the analyst comes to him or her with hey, this number doesn't look good, they will push it, no? Because they're so in love with that dream. So I think that's one of my learnings. Even when you do have the chance to talk to the partner, which is who takes the shot, focus a lot on the dream, no? On the emotions, not so much on the data.
I completely agree with you, Oscar, because when you're in venture capital, it's venture. You dream of a future where the story has 10x, 20, 50x. It's a dream. And the dream happens once every 100 investments. See what I mean? So basically, as an entrepreneur, the numbers, the data, the figures, everything needs to be perfect. But the reality is that it will always be emotional.
And this is their business, right? They only make money with a 50x. They don't care about the 2x's, the 5x's. When you look at the venture capitals that have made good money, it's because they have anomalies. No, they have out of 50 investments, they have 1 or 2 that become unicorns, and that returns the entire fund.
There are some specific funds. Their thesis is investing only in fund returner. So basically, the company, their investment has to return the whole fund.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically they will do 30 investments, and they hope that there will be 1.5 that returns the whole fund.
Yeah.
And that's their basically their strategy.
That's yellow. That's exactly yellow. Yeah, yeah. And it's crazy to think about it, but yeah, it's
yeah.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, the staff for the organization. Thank you, Oscar, for coming here and sharing with us your experience. My question is, the first question that comes on my mind when I see or hear about a success story is, what's your success habits? Something you do every day that help you on focusing, or I hope that you
I wake up
understand
early.
the question.
Yeah, I wake up early. Not sacrifice a lot on sleep, right? Which means going to bed early. And then in Barcelona, we're very lucky because you can go to nature pretty fast. So we have a mountain. And I try to go there every day.
Oh, amazing. Every day.
Yeah, I have a mountain bike, and it's really fast. So it's like in 80 minutes, you can do it.
Cool.
So this is also a great way to think and disconnect.
Thank you. I think, one last question.
Let's go.
I mean, you want to ask a
It
question?
has to be good, eh?
Okay, 3 questions, and then we're done.
Thank you, Oscar. I'm Dahaba. I'm a product designer from Wigo. First of all, I would like to commend the user experience of the app. Like it's marvelous. And just a short story. Yesterday, I sent roses to my girlfriend in Kenya through Glovo while I was here.
Amazing.
St. Valentine's.
Yeah. So
Creating love. Glovo creating love.
Yesterday was big day. Yeah.
I realized that the UX in the app made sure that when a user encounters a problem, he finds the solution directly in the app, like you give them solution in a very reassuring way, without them having to call the customer experience, like customer service. Yeah. I'd like to know, like, how did you get there, and why did you choose that? I'm sure it's less yeah.
So you say that you cannot contact customer service, or?
No, you can, but you make sure that the user gets all the solutions he needs.
Before having a chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, how do you get to think about that?
When you look at the cost of customer service.
I was going to say that. That's so many savings in ops.
Yeah. Like, remember, we make less than €1 per order, right? So, and every time an agent needs to get involved, a customer support agent, it's more than €1 cost, for sure. So you already lose money on that order. So yeah, we just try to automate as much as possible. This is the area where we are applying Gen AI the most, because there's so much to automate. Yeah.
That's interesting, because every single action of a human being has to be calibrated, because your unit economics are so thin.
Super thin, yeah. Super.
Hi, Oscar. Thank you again for this session. My name is Caleb. I'm actually an ex-Glovo.
You're an ex-Glovo?
Yeah, I used to work in talent acquisition.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where? In Morocco?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my question, I have two questions. First one is, well, in Africa, Morocco is actually the prime example of success for Glovo in Africa. And when you look at the other countries where Glovo currently operates, there are some challenges, especially with, for example, identifying, locating addresses.
Yeah.
I know this used to be a challenge. I'm just curious to know how Glovo is currently navigating that particular problem. And then second question, I can also direct it to you as well, both of you. We're seeing investors pursuing, should I say, the big dreams, right? So right now we're seeing a huge drive in AI, and so many investors are investing in AI. And as a result, there are a number of other startups that are not kind of getting that kind of exposure. So my question would be, like, what is your strategy in investing when it comes to this, this regard?
So to the first, yes, Sub-Saharan Africa, we have found a lot more things to localize, right? The way we solve it is by prioritizing product, no? So building specific product for Sub-Saharan Africa cities, which it was a bit of a chicken and egg, right? Because Sub-Saharan Africa for us was so small, and our product team is the most important thing, so you don't want to really deviate them. But at the end, yeah, we have been investing a bit, and I think we're cracking how to operate in cities like Lagos and Nairobi, and now it's working really well.
I have a question. He talked about the UX and UI design of the app.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the same or specific per region?
It's the same.
It's the same. So you have normalized the user experience all around the world.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise would be a big mess, Like, would be very hard to maintain.
Because I've seen some apps, like super apps and everything, that like had to specifically add a section depending on which market they're in.
I mean, maybe the categories get different, right? But this is the local team; they can play with it. I mean, of course, when Ramadan comes, like we don't have a Ramadan category.
This is content.
Yeah, content.
But the usage of the app is very specific to just being a human being, not like being in Morocco or.
Yeah. No, it's the same.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to answer the second?
Yeah, I actually I want to hear your answer too. But I can answer if you want. I start and then I leave you. I try to avoid trends. So when people talk about Gen AI and everything, I'm very, very careful. Also, when everything was about blockchain, crypto, I'm also very careful. Trends is where VCs start doing nonsense investments. Because there is what Oscar was saying about emotions, fear of missing out. They're putting a ticket in this company, I need to put it's like a great company. So, like, I think that you have to be able to dream big while keeping your head cold on the rationale of how this investment, how this company is going to disrupt something that has not been cracked yet thanks to technology. And I think that this is my thesis. So, and some people here know me in investment committees, that I'm a big pain in the ass around unit economics, and like I'm very, very tough on these topics. But at the same time, I like to dream. I like to think that we're like targeting a huge market, that if they crack it, they can get like the whole thing and have other areas of expansion. So for me, my thesis is the company healthy? Are the unit economics healthy? And then after we dream.
I'm not going to improve the answer, so. No, I fully agree. Fully agree. Yeah.
Just have a last question. Thank you, first of all, thank you very much for valuable insight for our ecosystem and especially founders in Morocco. Not only here to confirm that Reda is a pain in the ass in investment committees, but also to ask you from a founder's perspective, did you feel like in your equity story as a journey that VC investors were a necessary evil, or did at least some of them, have valuable advice and insights and steering to your journey?
You know, the founder of what's his name? Stripe, I think. Yeah.
John?
Yeah, I think he said, look for investors that don't want to help, right? And it's don't want to help. And I understand why he says this, right? Because when you see an investor that shows so much proactivity, like, hey, I'm gonna be helping you with this and that, I'm gonna come to your office once a month, blah blah blah. It becomes an extra load, right? And it's what's obvious is nobody. It doesn't matter how good that the person is, right? Nobody will, like, the gap of business understanding versus you that are living the business all days, all weeks, like, it's impossible that it's really hard to add value from the outside. I think it's really, really hard. And
Oscar, I have to agree with you, but only when the investor has never been an entrepreneur.
Also, yeah.
When an investor has never been an entrepreneur, it's very hard for him to understand how a company is operated, really, and what kind of challenges an entrepreneur can meet every day. But from my perspective, because before being an investor, I've been a serial entrepreneur. I crashed a company, I sold a company, and so I know, like, all the things that happens in a life of an entrepreneur. Like, I think I try to know how to be an investor who's here to help, but also tells the entrepreneur, you know, it's your business.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is how you should do things, but at the end of the day, you know the business better than me.
Yeah. And you know, at the same time, I was really, when I was building, I was really tired of some investors that were very annoying. But now I understand that I think the role, at the end, the role of the board, more than investors, the role of the board is to make sure there's a good level of discipline, right? Because I think it's human nature that everybody needs a boss, right? And a founder needs a boss, and the boss of the founder is the board. And there has to be a board. And
the boss of the VC is the LP.
Yeah. The only one that doesn't have a boss is the LP because they're rich and they don't they don't report to anybody. But I do agree there's a difficult balance between being too annoying but also making sure that there's discipline, right?
Yeah.
In that company, how it's managed. And I think the way to do that is, I don't know, like for example, one board every 2 months, no? And you block one morning, and it forces the founder to think and plan and present well. And then after the next meeting, you don't annoy, you don't bother unless the founder asks for help, of course.
I think it's a good approach. Well,
all right.
Thank you. I think it's over, but it was the final question, but there is the cocktail. So if there is any question, maybe Oscar, you can stay maybe 5-10 minutes for the cocktail. So quick. Sorry? It was the last question, and there will be an open discussion during the cocktail. Thank you, and we move to the cocktail.
Thank you, it's a pleasure. Yeah.